So for those who are regulars to the channel, you'll know that I'm a gigging musician. I play in pubs and clubs in the northwest of the UK. And for many of you folks, you may be doing the same thing in your area of the world. But we can't go on without talking about a pandemic. Now, as it stands right now in May of 2021, we are not out of the woods yet. There's still a long way to go, and some countries are way behind the UK and the US. But there is some great glimpse of hope. As I said before, pubs and clubs are starting to open up again. Now, when the pandemic hit hard, lots of people turned to live streaming. And you may have found a brand new audience other than your locals. So this is a little bit of a long intro, but today, what I'm here to talk about is a couple of ways you can actually do a hybrid gig. What do I mean by hybrid gig? What I mean is we're not going to take away any elements of you playing live, but at the same time, we're going to add all the elements we've learned over the past 12 to 18 months and bring that along with us and adapt what they know for gigging onto an online forum. So you now have two audience, ones that are actually live there in front of you and the ones who are looking at you through a camera lens. Be it you're using Facebook or you're using YouTube or you're using what I use, which is Restream, where you can stream to multiple channels at the same place. If you want to see how I do that, I've got a video all about Restream, which I'm going to put in the cards now. Now you can just go back to the way things were, go back to gigging, but you're going to drop all the people who have followed you maybe over the past 12 to 18 months. Now it's no surprise to anyone that you can pretty much grab a phone, no matter what phone it is, throw it in a tripod stand, point it on stage, and click go live. That's not actually the hard part. The hard part is the audio. It's always been the most difficult part. Now, I did a video all about live streaming for beginners and called it the Beginners Streaming Bundle, where we used a USB mixer, the Behringer 802, for example. We send the main out to the PA, but then we use the USB to send out to the phone. You can take those elements and bring them into a live environment. You could set the phone up on the side of the stage, giving your online viewers a unique view that they would never get if they were sitting in a pub. But there's a problem that arises very quickly, and it's forgetting. What have I forgotten? I'm only joking. What I mean is that people who have gigged before, they're so used to gigging live and engaging with the audience that's right in front of them, they may forget that there's a camera lens with more people behind that. So if I go and play one of my locals in town and I take the live stream with me, they can still enjoy that entertainment, but I've got to make sure that I'm engaging with them. So if I put the front-facing camera, which is what I've got now, into a tripod, the age-old problem is that I can't see the comments. You could just flip the camera around and use the selfie camera, and then you could see it, but then you're going to constantly do this, which for your live audience doesn't look very good. Then comes the added thing that you're bringing more equipment on stage with you. For those who are regulars, you'll know I'm a loop artist, so I have my loop pedals, I've got my PA, I've got the two guitars. Now I've got to add a tripod, I've got to add all these bits and bobs just so I can get an online audience. Is it worth it? Now, I'm not here to tell you whether it is or it isn't. It's down to you, it's down to your audience, and it's down to whether you want to bring that audience into that live environment. If you've been streaming with things like OBS on your computer, do you want to bring your laptop on stage? I don't actually have a laptop. Mine's an iMac. I'm not bringing that on stage. So this is where I'm going to make my first recommendation. And that recommendation is Cinemaker. Now, Cinemaker is an iOS-based system, but there's a very good reason for that. You control everything through an iPad, and you could use your own phone, or if you're a band, everyone can just download the Capture app, and suddenly you've got multiple cameras available to you. And you could either control the view yourself by having the iPad next to you, or you could hand the iPad to someone you trust to be your videographer whilst playing live. They don't have to run up to each individual iPhone or iPod, whatever you've got as the camera, because they can control it all from the iPad, which is called the Director iPad. Then at the same time, that other person can be reading out the comments for you. Then maybe they could shout it out, or they could let you know in some way. So if you say, have you got any requests? That's your cue for your friend who's holding the iPad to actually have a look at comments and maybe shout them out. Now, the other reason why I'm recommending Cinemaker is because it is free. It's a free app to download, and you can put two cameras or two iPhones on there as cameras. If you want more, they have a thing called Cinemaker Studio. Now, it is a paid-for app. However, the price of it for 1 year could be made in one live gig. So that's my first recommendation, and if you want to see how Cinemaker works, I did a video on it, but also at the same time, soon I'm going to be bringing you a getting started guide. The second thing I want to talk about is money. We don't talk about it enough. We're here to make money. Now, you could use something like Evo, which is an online streaming service where it is a ticketed event, but you could bring something that's online into the real world. What I'm talking about is PayPal.me. PayPal.me was originally set up as a link that you could give out to your friends. You'll go for dinner, you pay, and then they all pay you back through PayPal.me link. But performers and musicians are now using it and calling it a virtual tip jar. So much so that PayPal have taken this on board and they've created a virtual tip jar QR code. You could literally print this QR code out on a piece of paper and put it somewhere on stage. And then when you're talking about it to both the online audience and the audience that's actually in the venue, everyone that's got their own phone could scan it and anyone that's online could click the link. This is a great way to get busking money, and the paypal.me link can also be doubled up if you're selling merch. Now, after the gig and you're using Cinemaker, so I'm going back to Cinemaker for a second, one thing that does is it records the live stream, but it records it locally onto your iPad. The reason why I'm bringing Cinemaker up a second time is because now what you can do is you can repurpose that live stream. The live stream's gone out and that's fine and people have watched it and clapped and that's all good. But now what you've got is you've got promotional material. So if you want to promote your next gig or you want to show it off to a client, you could then re-edit and chop that up and bring it out onto things like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and show people what you're capable of. And now just by bringing an iPhone, which you've probably got in your pocket, an iPad and a tripod, and just a couple of cables to plug into your rig, you've now got a marketing tool on top of a live streaming setup. I think this is a fantastic idea, and when I fully start gigging again, I'm going to be using this as a way to record and live stream at the same time, and then use that recording to promote my next gigs. The next thing I want to talk about is then getting that audio from the live stream that you've recorded out there in the world. By using Cinemaker, you've already recorded the audio for that gig. And what this means is if it sounds fantastic and you want people to hear it, you could take that audio, chop it up into its songs, and then release it as a live album. So my third recommendation is DistroKid. DistroKid is a distribution company where you give your songs to them and then they push your songs out to all the online stores and all the digital streaming services around the world. Now, I'm very lucky to say that DistroKid are sponsoring this video, and they have actually teamed up with us, and we have a link that's on the screen now, and it's also in the description box below, that gives you 7% off the annual membership with DistroKid. So how much is it to actually push hundreds of songs out a year? Well, actually it's one price, which is $19.99, and we can give you 7% off with that link. There's also a couple of tiers, so there's the musicians one, there's musicians plus, and there's also the label version, and you'll get 7% off no matter which tier you choose. Imagine doing a live gig, recording the live stream, and then being able to send those songs out to places like Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, Amazon Music, and all the others that are out there in the world. So first of all, thank you very much DistroKid for sponsoring this video, and then click the link below to get 7% off your first annual membership and start distributing your music today. Now, back to before I cut my hair. People love entertainment, and I've been hearing things like, oh, it's all saturated now because everyone's online. Personally, I think that's absolute rubbish. Actually, there's a plethora of music out there that you can go and enjoy and watch and be entertained. So why not add to that pool with your own music? It's never been a better time to be a digital musician, but at the same time, I'm fully committed to continue to play live. The knock-on effect of that is you're actually going to get more people to come to your gigs. Certainly if you've got a Facebook page and using Facebook ads to promote yourself in a specific area. Let's go back to the gig we've just done. You could use that footage as a marketing tool for that ad. What you need is content, and you need good sounding content. If the video visuals are a little bit downgraded, but the sound quality is excellent, people will stay. If the visuals are fantastic, but they can't hear it, they will leave. So my point for all of this, as we get back into live events and live gigging again, is don't forget your online audience. Bring them with you. How cool would it be to take them on stage with you? It's part of your journey as a musician, but it's also part of their journey as a fan and a dedicated follower. Also, that audience may turn around and give you enough money through paypal.me to actually fly to somewhere new, provided we're allowed to fly to somewhere, or travel to somewhere new for a new gig, which could open up more opportunities. I haven't done anything massively instructional in this video, I've just been talking at you. I've put some links to different videos that I've done as I've talked about them today, and if you have found the content of those videos useful and you want more, then subscribe to the channel. If you want to support me a little bit further, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com. And there's another one as well. Buy Me a Coffee keeps this channel alive, and to those who have already done so, thank you very much. Also, if you want my help, one-on-one help, maybe you need help with setting up in a live environment, maybe you need help just live streaming, or maybe you need help with live looping, I have that service available through buymeacoffee.com as well. There's a link in the description. Go check it out. Thank you very much for sticking with me on this one, and we'll see you on the next one.